Okay, so this is the famous Mandelbrot set. And if you can just imagine reality as a fractal like this, where it's self-similar and repeating itself in different variations, but really the same thing over and over at all different levels. Just imagine this is how our reality works. How everything in the natural world is organized. And with that, you start getting a picture of how I am seeing our reality. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you. Okay, here we are in Yellowstone today. And I was just sitting out here by myself at the moment. It's pretty peaceful, so I was doing some meditation. I thought maybe I would speak about meditation. And you know, when I talk to people about it, I don't think anybody knows what I'm talking about. They don't understand what it is you're doing, and they don't understand about what's happening. They think that, or I believe they think that it's just some kind of foolish endeavor, some hocus pocus. I don't know really, but tell me what you think about it. Leave some stuff in the comments, you know. But what happens, it's the same thing, or very similar to hypnosis. And many other, you know, there's just not one thing you can say about it that covers everything. But when you become quiet and still, it's like your ego kind of gives up and lets your body go to sleep. And you can keep your self engaged with pieces of your ego, sure, but a lot of your ego gives up, kind of, and lets another portion of you in. And I saw a video of this neurologist. And she studied brains because her brother was a schizophrenic, and she, you know, we do things like that to things happen in our lifetimes, and we end up taking careers and things to, you know, to pursue, to try to figure out things. It's probably not making a lot of sense here, but anyway, she had a stroke on the left side of her brain. She had a major blood vessel burst. And for a while, she lost her left thinking completely. And she realized that she was losing it as it was going, her being a brain scientist, and she became totally right-brained for a while. And she realized that the right brain has all this knowledge, all these thoughts about kind of the woo-woo, you know? That the right side of your brain realizes that you're much more than a physical body. Your left side of your brain says, no, 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 you're only the body. But when that went away from her, the left side that is, and the right side took over, she couldn't tell where her body ended and where other things began, because you're all one thing. The universe is one thing. And we see these boundaries, but they're just illusionary boundaries. We're no different than anything else. We're all made of the same things. You know, atoms are basically all the same thing with maybe a different number of protons and electrons. And these atoms are they're just vibrations in a wave of potential. There's, you know, they a long time ago called it the ether, and then, you know, that was decided that didn't happen. There wasn't an ether, and then later on, information gets stimulated certain ways. Atoms come from it. And they're popping in and out of existence all the time in a process called annihilation. What makes our atoms different from anybody else's atoms is our thinking. We're stimulating it with the vibration of our thought. So in this way, we change that vibration in our thought pattern. We become kind of harmonized in our brain to a certain way that stimulates the right and lulls to sleep the left part of the brain. And you have like spiritual experiences. And you know, the first thing you feel is once you start becoming relaxed is it feels good. And then next, you kind of have a wave of bliss coming. And then the next wave is even more intense. And it's just a beautiful thing. What can I tell you? You know, the leaders in Buddha and Hinduism, where they've done these meditations for eons, they all say don't get stuck in that feel-good area. You need to keep moving, move on beyond it. There's better things besides just feeling really, really, really good. Hard to believe, but there are. But I wouldn't tell anybody not to do that. I think that makes the practice so enjoyable, something that you can look forward to. And you don't have to spend your whole meditation there. You know, after an hour or two of this really, really wonderful feeling, you can push on beyond it and start to experience like other realms of reality, basically. And I want to say you lose that bliss, but you don't really. You just don't notice it as much once you start peering into these other realms of reality. But once you do that, you realize the beauty, the absolute beauty of these places. It's just so amazing. So what I would tell people about meditation is learn it. You will enjoy it. Now, you might not do like me, and I spend many hours a day in meditation. And I've really done meditation for all of my life, since I was about 8 years old when I first started. My mom taught me how to avoid migraines, or how to relieve the pain of a migraine in a form of meditation, which she called hiding from the pain, where you just become very still with a wet rag over your eyes, and you just don't move a muscle. And that you can drift into those states just by doing that. Or you can use mantras where you're chanting a word over and over that makes no sense at all. And you don't want a word that makes sense. You want something that doesn't have any logical sense to it. And your left side of your brain says, well, this doesn't make any sense at all. I'm out of here. Go do what you want, but this isn't for me. And once your left side of your brain bows out and the right side takes over, well, then you get into these blissful states, and then eventually into these states of other realms of reality. And even people that do like remote viewing and stuff, they're in those kind of states. They're in those really high levels, and they project their thought, their mind. They project themselves, not their bodies, but their thought, into places and witness things, and then come back and describe them. Now, it's not like this physical world where everything has a certain way of making sense. No, it's more dreamlike and hard to explain. So you might say, well, how in the world could that possibly happen, you know? Our brain's in our skull. It's tied there. And your brain is in your skull. And your brain's important. And your brain makes all these calculations and things. But you are not your brain. You, the real you, it's in another reality. And this life is kind of like experiencing a movie or a good book, or even better yet, a video game with, you know, like headsets and stuff on. So, if your brain and if your mind, parts of your mind is not in your skull, then where is it? And to say where is it, it really doesn't make much sense, because there, in those realms, there aren't things like distance and places and things like that. Distance is something that we create with our brain here in this physical world. It's really impossible to talk about dimensions other than this one, unless two people have experienced the same thing, and then they can have a conversation about it. But for me to try to explain to you why there's no thing like distance, and yourself is not your brain, it's impossible, because I don't have the words, and my words are just kind of arrows pointing a direction for you to look. And nothing I can say could ever make anyone believe me, and that's fine too. I don't want anybody to believe me. I want people to go out and find this. Look at this. This is fantastic. Why this is held back from us, I can't help but think it's got to be nefarious, because why is the religions try to hide this so tightly? I mean, they let people learn it that are in these very initiated levels, I guess you'd say. And sure, it's not for everybody. You don't want everybody to know everything about this, because it's really powerful. It can be. But my goodness, everybody needs to know that their reality is just not what they think it is. It's just not fair to humanity. So that's why I'm making these videos. I want to try to stimulate their curiosity, where they'll go look and they'll go down that rabbit hole, and they go, oh my, I see. I see. Man, oh man. I sure wish that, I want to say I could give you a pill and you could experience it, but that's real. I mean, you can take a pill and experience. You could take a psychedelic and be there without doing the work. But I don't think you get that much out of that, because you didn't do enough work. You didn't put the foundation in place to understand where it is you went. You blaming it on this pill instead of understanding that, no, there are separate realities. All right, well, those are my thoughts today, and I think I will do a series on teaching how I meditate, because I do things pretty different than anything I've seen out there, really. So anyway, that'll do it for now.